Moments can break a heart so quietly that the world never hears the sound. It was a cold winter morning when little Emily noticed something she had never truly seen before. Her mother, Sarah, stood in the middle of a crowded grocery store, trying to greet familiar neighbors, but every single person walked past her as if she did not exist. Emily tugged lightly on her mother's coat, looking up with innocent, confused eyes. The question fell from her lips so softly, yet it pierced through Sarah's chest like a blade. "Mummy, why is everyone ignoring you? If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small hearts to create big change, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing meaningful stories like this one." Sarah had once lived a joyful life. She grew up in a warm, loving family and had once dreamed of being a fashion designer. But life had a way of turning slowly into storms. She married young, fell deeply in love, and believed that love alone would build a life strong enough to withstand anything. Her husband, Daniel, was charming, ambitious, and bold. For a while, things seemed perfect. They moved into a beautiful suburban neighborhood in Washington state, where the houses were neat and the yards were always trimmed just right. People in town admired Daniel. He was making his way up in a major construction firm, and his income grew each year. But success changed Daniel in quiet ways at first. He came home later. He lost interest in calm evenings with his wife and daughter. He began talking differently, as if every conversation needed to impress someone. The weight of money, status, and pride was reshaping him. Eventually, Daniel's ambition twisted into something darker, and he started drinking heavily. When the firm he was with faced financial loss, his reputation and ego took the hardest hit. He blamed Sarah for his stress, accusing her of never contributing financially, of not understanding him, of not being enough. The arguments became loud, piercing through the walls of their home at night. Emily, too young to understand, would sit in her small room hugging her teddy bear tightly, her eyes wide and afraid. But Sarah stayed, trying to protect her daughter from emotional damage, quietly carrying pain in silence. Then one day, Daniel simply left. He did not pack much. He did not say goodbye. He simply walked out and never returned. What followed was a slow unraveling. Friends who once invited Sarah to community dinners now pretended not to see her. She heard whispers when she walked past groups of women outside the school or inside the grocery store. People assumed she had done something wrong to push her husband away. Others just did not want to be involved with someone who struggled. It was easier to look away. The loneliness hollowed her. The bills piled up. She began working part-time cleaning offices at night. Her hands, once graceful and creative, became tired and rough. But through everything, she still smiled when Emily looked at her. She laughed with her daughter, braided her hair gently each morning, and tried to make every day feel safe, even when life itself felt cold. Emily was a bright, loving little girl. She had her mother's soft eyes and tender heart. At school, she noticed other kids had two parents, or grandparents who visited, or families who went to amusement parks on weekends. But she never complained. She held her mother's hand proudly everywhere they went. One particular morning, after finishing another long shift that stretched almost to dawn, Sarah took Emily to the grocery store. Her eyes had shadows beneath them, and her jacket was worn from years of use. She tried to smile warmly at the neighbors who passed by, but no one greeted her. Some nodded and moved away. One woman pretended to be busy on her phone. A man who once chatted with Sarah turned his cart and walked the other way. That was when Emily asked the question that shattered the fragile wall her mother had built within herself. "Why is everyone ignoring you?" Sarah froze. She knelt down beside her daughter, but tears began streaming before she could say a single word. Emily wrapped her small arms around her neck and held her close, the way a child instinctively holds someone whose soul is hurting. In that quiet embrace, something shifted. It was the moment that changed everything. A man had witnessed the scene. His name was Michael Turner. He was known in town as a wealthy businessman, a millionaire who owned real estate, restaurants, and charity foundations. But beneath his success was a heart that had once been full of love and joy. Many years ago, he had been married to a woman named Anna. They had dreamed of a family and a future filled with travel, laughter, and time together. But life had stolen all of it from him when Anna passed away due to heart complications. Michael's heart broke, and in his grief he became distant, cold, and emotionally absent. He focused entirely on work, donating money to charities, yet never allowing himself to feel truly connected to any cause or any person. Yet when he saw Sarah crying and her daughter holding her with such pure love, something in him stirred awake. He approached slowly, unsure at first of what to say. He picked up a small stuffed bunny that had fallen from Emily's bag and gently handed it to her. Sarah wiped her tears and apologized softly, embarrassed. But Michael simply smiled, not with the polished charm people often expected from him, but with a quiet, genuine warmth that had long been hidden inside him. He asked if she was all right. Sarah, trying to protect her pride, nodded. Yet her eyes betrayed exhaustion, struggle, loneliness. There was something deeply human in her gaze that Michael recognized. Pain was familiar to him too. Over the next several weeks, Michael began stopping by the grocery store at times he thought Sarah might be there. They talked in, passing at first. Nothing forced, nothing rushed. Just two people who understood what it felt like to lose parts of their lives they once thought would last forever. Emily liked him. She would chatter happily, telling him about school, drawings, and how her mommy was the strongest mommy in the world. Michael would listen with a soft expression, hearing something sacred in the child's trust. Eventually, Michael asked if Sarah would allow him to help her find a better job. Not out of pity, but because he genuinely believed she was capable of more. Sarah hesitated. She had been taught by experience that help often came with judgment, but she agreed when she saw sincerity in his eyes. Michael introduced her to a friend who owned a small boutique. The owner hired Sarah not as a cleaner but as a creative assistant. Sarah was given space to design window displays, coordinate pieces, and contribute ideas. Her natural talent bloomed almost instantly. Customers began noticing. Sales increased. The owner praised her. For the first time in years, Sarah felt seen. Michael continued to support quietly, always giving space, never rushing connection. He would sometimes bring Emily little gifts, though nothing extravagant, just thoughtful things like coloring pencils or hair ribbons. Emily adored him. One evening, after closing the boutique, Sarah walked outside to find the sky painted in shades of gold and pink. Michael was waiting across the street, leaning against his car, simply looking at her with the kind of admiration she had not felt in years. Emily, who was skipping beside her, let go of her hand and ran ahead to greet him. Sarah watched them together and felt something warm and unfamiliar returning to her heart. It was hope, but healing was not free of setbacks. When townspeople began noticing Michael spending time with Sarah, whispers resurfaced. They questioned her character again, wondering how a struggling single mother had gained the attention of a millionaire. Rumors spread, and the same people who once ignored her now criticized her. Sarah tried to ignore it, but she was human. Their words stung. One night she broke down, confessing to Michael that she was afraid of bringing shame to him. Michael listened, and with gentle honesty told her that he had once believed a person's worth was measured by their reputation, success, or how others viewed them. But he understood now that real worth was in the strength of a heart that continues to love despite suffering. He told her she was stronger than anyone who spoke about her. Emily, too young to understand everything, simply hugged her mother from behind, as if to remind her that love was bigger than fear. Slowly, the town began to see Sarah differently. They saw her dedication, her talent, her kindness,